Live from Radio Row, the Jake Asman Show continues right now here in San Fran. And joining us right now is the CEO of Vayner Sports. It's our guy, Gary Vaynerchuk. And let's be honest, Gary's on the show not to talk about all his successful businesses, which we will get into. We're talking about our Jets.
Let's talk Jets the whole time.
Let's commiserate.
Everybody here is like, they can find the business stuff anywhere. I don't get a lot of opportunity to go deep Jets with people that actually know what the fuck's going on. So let's go Jets very heavily, please.
I mean, we have an OC to discuss. That broke yesterday.
Yes.
What were your thoughts on Frank Reich?
You know this. This has not been the smoothest coordinator and coaches offseason of our lives. So part of me is like, it could have been worse, right? You are talking about someone who played QB in the league. You're talking about somebody who, the data isn't like overwhelming. We had a young Bryce, this and that. I think Frank's a good coach. I'm probably part of the Jets fandom that's similar to me, that we want the young whiz kid quarterback coach. Like watching Mike get that job in Arizona. My brother and I have 4,000 texts between us when we were disappointed when he got fired here. We thought he was like, when you look back at that season when every quarterback had 300-yard passing games, right? I thought that was a really real offense. So, I'm probably like a lot of people that like, you get intrigued by that 28, 32, 34-year-old whiz kid offensive coordinator.
That's why I wanted them to keep Tanner Engstrand and get some senior level assistants to help him, because it felt like Engstrand at times, what do you want him to do with the quarterback situation? There were guys open. There were guys being schemed open.
I don't think anybody on earth that has a common sense brain cell can blame Tanner for last year's season. You could pick at it. I mean, we watch every play, right? We're maniacs. Like, we can argue that there was some lack of creativity, but fuck, man, like, lack of creativity also comes with personnel. And
also, if you're a brand new head coach in Aaron Glenn and you're touting your coaching staff, you're giving up on both your coordinators after year one. The Wilkes thing, I get it. The defense was a disaster. That's fine. But what happened to continuity and laying the foundation? How do you lay a foundation when 9 of your 21 coaches are out?
Look, you know this. Everyone knows this. Like, let's all just take a step back, Jets Nation. There are multiple variables in stuff that happens. Does anyone here think that Aaron Glenn unanimously, autonomously, with no input from Mooj and no input from ownership, just made his decisions? Do you believe that?
I do not.
Me neither.
But I do think Woody, to this point, has basically let Aaron Glenn do what he's wanted. And then they went 3-14 in year one. And I mean, if I own the team, I'd be saying, wait a second, you want to hire Wink Martindale, pay him $4 or $5 million when you're a defensive coach?
I respect that too. I don't think anything's wrong or right. And like, let's call a spade a spade. All of us are on a 15-year tiltness. The amount of times I think about 2015 in a week. Jake, I probably think about the 2015 NFL season once a week. I was like, fuck, we're 10-6. And I went to every game that year. Literally physically.
So you were in Buffalo for the last game of the season?
I went to every game that year.
Jeez.
London, the Texans game that we barely, Dallas, the 2 Texas games were wild. We barely got out of both of those, but we got them. Saw Jay Samaro in street clothes while he was still on the team in that game. Anyway, yeah, man, it is what it is. We're all on tilt. It is a lot of changes. I mean, the Wilkes hire was frustrating from the beginning. I understood it. First-time coach. Let me get somebody I trust that's an OG. But, like, that was a head coach that really was not successful consistently for a while. So I was fine with that. I would have been more interested in giving Tanner another run. I do like the experience of Frank. I think experience has value. And look, here's where I'm at. We have the best 2 young tackle combo in the NFL. We have 7 picks in the next 2 years that are just outrageous. 4 top 50s this year and 3 ones in an iconic 27 draft. You do this for a living. I'm sure you know how good the 27 draft is.
I'm already making shirts, marching for Arch or whoever the top quarterback is.
So, I don't know. I'm not in the overall mood to cry. I am wildly in belief that we're going to have a challenging season next year. Now that becomes the question. You're going to go through next year. I don't think you and I believe we're a playoff-bound team next year.
No, I mean, I'm not convinced the head coach makes it through the year if they start 1-5. I mean, that's where I think Glenn's on the hottest of seats of any coach going into next season.
And that's tough, man. We're just not giving any breathing room to build.
I mean, Gary, you talk to Jet fans all the time.
Of course,
people
every
come
minute.
up to you. I have never seen the fan base like this, where we are this out on a coach this quickly who came in and he was a former Jet. He was a great Jet. We all wanted to believe. They start 0-7.
I think it's compounded by where we're at.
I agree. I believe any coach inherits the past for sure.
We're on a generational run.
They haven't won more than 7 games in 10 years. Like we're watching, Mike Vrabel in year 1 in the Super Bowl with the Patriots against Darnold. Like it's just everywhere you go, it always comes back to the Jets and their levels of dysfunction.
That's right. And so like none of this makes me confused. I mean, I think about this, this. I'm a psycho. I think I'm going to buy this team. I think about what would I do. This takes discipline. This takes discipline at the owner level. I'll say this. I have a very funny feeling I'm going to get a good reaction from you. I think all of us Jet fans that are being fair are obsessed with Mooj right now.
Well, I think he did an excellent job given the circumstances, getting maximum value.
You just said did an excellent job.
Yes.
When have we been able to say that?
I
think you keep it. One of the reasons I share your stuff is I think you keep it right. I agree. And by the way, I'm not talking about the trades. What about all the pickups?
100%.
We built a defensive line.
Well, it's funny. Harrison Phillips and A.D. Mitchell both coming on the show today.
I love it.
Yeah, like 2 of the bright spots. The trades in season were excellent. The value they got for Sauce and Quinnen, excellent. They obviously now need to figure out how they could get through this year, show some competency improvement. Because there's a scenario, Gary, you tell me if you agree, where Glenn might not be the head coach a year from now, but Mooji's staying on, and he's a part of picking the next head coach, preferably someone that's not learning on the job in the toughest place to learn on the job in the New York media market with a 16-year playoff drought at that point.
Yeah, I think that's in play. I really hope it's not. I hope for us that, you want to have continuity. And like, I get firing and I get it all. And like, the next news cycle is the fun stuff, like all that stuff. But, which I want Aaron Glenn to go 9-8. I want him to go 9-8. I want to play gritty football. And I want the defense to get better. And I want to see all 4 to 5 young kids that we like all care about play well.
What's your feel on the quarterback situation then?
I think we punt it.
Well, you're going to have to take a swing on someone. Maybe not in round 1. Sure, I don't think you reach for Ty Simpson.
I do not want to take a quarterback minimally until round 5 or 6.
Well, what if you use one of your 2 second-round picks? Like
I would be devastated.
Really?
Yeah, I think we need a lot of things, bro.
Well, they do, but they also need a quarterback.
Yes, I understand, but you have the 27 draft. Insanity.
But if you're Aaron Glenn and you know that your job is on the line,
he's not gonna have the power to make that call.
So you think Mooji now? Because remember, Woody Johnson referred to Darren Mooji when they first got hired as Glenn's sidekick. You think Mooji now has enough power to actually say, "Hey, I know you need a quarterback, we need to get someone in, but we're just gonna go BPA instead, best player available."
I think they have a lot of like. Let's.
I mean, they're gonna sign at least 1 or 2 veterans or trade for someone. Like you're gonna have a Kirk Cousins, Mac Jones, some of that ilk that's gonna be added to this team. Jacoby Brissett, connection with Frank Reich. But they're going to have to take a swing on someone in the draft. I don't want Ty Simpson at 16.
I'm just telling you what I would do. This is where like long-term thinking comes in. I believe, and first of all, it's not a great draft.
No. And you don't want to force a quarterback pick, but this is what happens when a regime feels like they have to save their job.
But I think the owner's involved. I think the GM's involved. And I think the head coach is involved. And I think you're going to get a room. I get it. Like, I'm on the record. I mean, we did this with Hack. We so reached with Hack that year.
And then because you took him in the second round, McCagnon's not taking a chance on Deshaun Watson, pre-massage allegations, and Patrick Mahomes, of course. So,
correct, which makes no sense. Like, I was yelling. We took 2 safeties in a row, and I love Jamal and Marcus. Like, I know them wildly personal. They both have, by the way, they're both in the NFL. You know how insane it is? Both of them are still in the NFL.
Yeah.
Obviously, they've had the kind of, twists and turns in their career. But look, I'm on the record that I'm desperately hoping that we take 4 high-impact positions in the top 50 picks.
What do you want at 2 then? Because there's a debate, Ruben Bain, David Bailey. Do you go out there and take the swing on Arvell Reese, not knowing, is he an edge? Is he an off-ball linebacker? And then you got to coach these guys up, and that's the big fear with any of these guys. I have no faith in the head coach and this coaching staff. I like the right hire given the other options, but
what about the defensive line coach we just made?
Carl Dunbar being back, that's nice. It's just
I mean, again, Jake, like you get to choose, like your overall temperament and mindset. You're allowed. We've all lived through it, but to have the discipline, to have the perspective, they have the ability to be like, hey, Dunbar's a good hire. Reich is not like the greatest hire, but he's not an atrocious hire.
They could have done worse.
Right? They could have done worse.
You could have had Nate Hackett,
Yeah, exactly. So, like, I don't know. Like, again, at 2, I don't know. Like, and here's why I say that. I've now been in the representation business for 8 years. We're going to have a high pick. We have Sonny Styles. In fact, Sonny could be a Jet.
It'd be a perfect Jet.
And So this is a big year for us. I might be in Pittsburgh in the green room because Sonny's moving up the board pretty quickly. He's probably now top 15. But I know a lot of stuff. Let me say what I know that I don't think ever gets talked about enough. I know what kids in this draft that we decided not to recruit could give a shit about football. Like, we don't talk, the media doesn't, you hear it, but like, let's say you want Bain and I want Reese, right? And it happens. And we're like, oh, we're fans.
Right.
Yeah. What we don't know is, I'll give you a good Ohio State pick the Jets took once. Vernon Golston gave no fucks about football.
So I do a show with Mike Tannenbaum on Sundays on ESPN Radio. We've talked about that.
Gave no fucks.
Yep.
I met him 4 seconds into his Jets preseason. I was out in New York one night. I hung out with Sanchez. It was amazing. One of the best nights of my life. Not like cool girl stuff, just like football talk, right?
This is why I love Gary, because he is truly diehard Jet fan.
Oh, guys, I'll talk about Anthony Schlegel. Like, talk about Vernon Golston and Sanchez is basic. Friends, I'll talk deeply about Anthony Schlegel, 3rd-round pick, Ohio State linebacker, and talking to Mel Kiper because I was in the upper deck day 2 of during the commercial break of why Schlegel was going to be a bust. I'll talk to you about Kellen Clemens as my favorite Jets pick ever.
This is why myself and any Jet fan with a pulse wants someone like you, who has stated your lifelong goals to own the Jets one day, to own the franchise, because you get the feeling Woody's spending $250 million to buy a piece of a soccer team. He's wearing a Crystal Palace hat at the NFL league meetings. I talk to firemen every week on the show. That bothers the diehard Jet fan. Do you have the all-in commitment from ownership?
I will say this. I want to be fair to Woody, and I know no one wants to. I just want to say something right now. I watched every play since '82, right? And so when Woody buys the team, I think in 2000 or so, right? 99, 2000, our first 15 years with Woody was the best 15-year run in Jets history.
They never had back-to-back below 500 seasons from 2000 to 2016. Think about that.
Brother, and you know this because you're a nerd like me.
Yes, I am.
The seasons that we struggled, we had unparalleled, unfortunate circumstances at quarterback.
Sure.
These were years where we lost our quarterback.
Think about it. When Chad Pennington was healthy, this team was going to the playoffs.
But remember the one year where Chad got hurt and then Fiedler got hurt? Yeah, and that's how we got Klingsbury and all those funny starters.
Vinny off the couch.
Vinny off the couch was amazing. Gets Tampa. We stunned them. I was going nuts. Friends, yes, it has not gone well. And yes, I understand. But I just want to say this. A lot of owners are not primary.
Well, look at the Knicks, right? You and I have seen you at Knicks games before. We've caught up there. I don't think James Dolan's magically like this great owner. I think he hired the right people and he finally got it right.
Got it right.
Again, I think there's some signs to like with Muji. It's just, to me, it's coach and quarterback in this league. And right now, obviously, we know about the quarterback. There's one that doesn't exist. That's the long-term answer on the roster. Yeah. I got major questions about the head coach.
You're allowed. We had a very and listen, Aaron put him I love him because I'm a Jets fan, but he put himself in a precarious spot. I thought what he did late there, where he kind of backtracked, was a really bad look. But I think I'm a great entrepreneur, been very successful, and I've done many micro things that are bad look. Guys, do you think Jake's ever had a bad show? Has he had a bad moment within a show? Of course.
My audience is going to kill me now. They're going to bring it all up.
But do you know what I mean? Like, yeah, I didn't love that. But fuck, man, we're human beings.
Sure.
Look, here's
what you have to hope he gets better.
And let me tell you what I know. I know that we at Vayner Sports rep Aiden Hutchinson. I know what Aiden Hutchinson thinks about Aaron Glenn. I know that we rep Jalen Reeves-Maben, the NFLPA president, linebacker, Lions. I know what he thinks about Aaron Glenn, right? Aleem, who got a huge contract because of how I know it. So I also rep Sauce Gardner. My brother reps Sauce. We rep Sauce Gardner.
What was that day like for you, by the way?
The weirdest fucking day of my life.
Insane.
Let me tell you how crazy it is. Me and AJ, I'm so busy. Me and AJ are never together during the middle of the day, ever. He's in my office randomly on some business. He gets a phone call. Thank God his phone was up and I could see it was a number I didn't recognize, because when he answered the phone, I had never seen my brother in my life. He's 38 at the time. The color come out of his face. I got scared. Thank God I could see the phone, because I would have thought my dad, I would have been very scared. And but we're an immigrant family. We know that matters. So he was very quick, everything's He's like, everything's okay. So I get calm. And then he just goes, he takes the phone. He goes, Scott traded. I'm like, what? Obviously we knew the Jets were going to be active. So I was shook. I love Sauce, and I love the Jets. It's so funny. I care so much less about Sauce now, though. I love the Jets so much, it's crazy. We rep Sauce, and we're like, we have the Colts pick, and AJ's like, Sauce got hurt. Like when he got hurt, I'm like, good. It's so crazy.
That's fandom,
I hope
though.
Sauce doesn't.
It's like what Jerry Seinfeld famously said: "We root for the laundry." That's it. We're always going to be fans of the team. We're going to be here a lot longer than anyone that's on the team.
You know that when you're a fan. When you then start a firm, you get lucky enough to get an all-time player. Like he's your boy, not only athlete. And like that happens, and that's where you actually feel. I'm like, oh, I'm a psycho. Anyway, it's also this is a funny one. Very famous Vayner sports story. We're 2 seconds old, 1 year old. I went to go speak at USC as Gary V, the entrepreneur. And then I spoke to the football team, and Sam was locked in. And afterwards, he came up, and we chopped it up. We started to build a friendship on Instagram while I was at USC. We got to be in the final 2 for Sam to sign. We were a nothing.
You were brand new.
Brand new. We had nobody. We had literally practice squad players. And here's Sam Darnold, the projected #1 pick. It was kind of when we we flew to his home, sat in his home. At this point, he's like the #1, or 2 pick because Baker's starting to ascend a little bit. And I closed the meeting with saying, Sam Darnold's, because the whole family, best family. I said, if God came down right now and said, Gary, you get to decide. Sam goes with Vayner Sports, changes Vayner Sports forever, accelerates the company to the moon, but goes to Cleveland at 1. Or Sam goes with CAA, but slips to 3 and is a Jet. What would you pick? And I said, the latter. That year is the only other time I've been in the green room with Vayner Sports. We had Josh Jackson, remember the corner out of Iowa, who slipped to the second round. That was a whole nother day. But I'm in the green room that day. And the Jets are on the board. And Darnold, Allen, and Rosen are sitting right next to each other. I'm back there with Josh. I run up. My brother's like, this is inappropriate. We're here with the Jackson family. I'm like, I don't give a fuck. I run up. And just like this, I couldn't really see. And then finally, I see Sam just go a little low. Sam gets drafted. I stay away because I want to be respectful to the agents because we didn't rep him. They knew that we were in the process. But he goes and walks to the podium. And his mom sees me, and she calls me over. And she hugs me. And she whispers in my ear, I knew God wanted you boys to be together.
Man. And that's what's so unfortunate now because this should have been us with him. And we failed the player more than the player failed the Jets. And that's what kills us. That's why every Jet fan is rooting for Sam.
But let's be fair. Sam did not go from the Jets to the Seahawks.
No, look, if you're a Viking fan, you got to be killing yourself too. You had him. He led you to 14 wins a year ago.
So
it's just tough because, again, it just shows you how important coaching is in infrastructure. You could actually pick the right quarterback, and we didn't know until he was in the right environment.
I cried when we took Kyle Brady over Warren Sapp. Cried. Like Browning Nagel. Like we were taking Favre. The Falcons jumped us. Like Kenny O over Marino because Marino partied. This is like 1984 life. Like, I don't know, man. Like, by the way, you ready for this one? Let's get really real. Is anyone confused that the Jets would have made the playoffs if Rodgers didn't have an ACL?
If he stayed healthy, I mean, that team won 7 games without him. With Zach Wilson, Trevor Siemian, Tim Boyle.
Correct. We also watched what Aaron did the next year, especially late. By the way, we don't fire Salah, we make the playoffs. How about that? I'll die on that hill.
They were 2-3 when they fired him.
Correct. And they scored like crazy in the second half of the year. That was the best offense we fucking beat in 20 years.
Look, a year ago, you and I both wanted them back. You see what happens. Another year removed from the Achilles, goes to a stable environment, makes the playoffs, wins 10 games.
Yeah, and he
wasn't what it was, but still, he's competent. That's what he was for the Jets, but no one wanted to acknowledge that.
And by the way, pre-Achilles, he might have been more than competent that 1 year.
Right.
I'm completely sure. So again, fuck you, owner, AG, fuck you. We could do that, but like, fucking Aaron torn Achilles. Like there's so much shit to this. Like, I don't know, man.
We still want you to buy the team, though. So,
bro, let this be clear. Me being empathetic, trying to be strategic, trying to like bring a non-emotional rant because there's unlimited Jets non-emotional rant content. Like a real conversation for real fans. Like, let's go deep. Let's talk about Briggs on the line. Let's talk about this offensive line. Let's talk about Tippmann at guard. I don't know. Let's talk about stuff. Yeah. Like, I don't know. Did everybody forget that Braylon Allen was a fucking beast? Like and does not have the kind of injury that should like really set him back and should be right in there. Like, I don't know, like this, like, AD, like, fuck, man, if he can, you can see it, right? It's going to be interesting. I think we all know. Like it's either going to be really epic or he's not going to be able to catch.
Well, with him,
like
Garrett,
you know what I mean?
and you maybe add someone, you have the makings of some pieces there. It's just, again.
Yeah, I don't know this USC receiver that all the box. Yeah, I don't know much about his game. We didn't recruit him. I didn't really like, just the way my life works. I don't know much about his game, but like, you get a receiver there, like the team, it doesn't take a lot. And yes, the quarterback, but I'm going to say it again. I'm on the record. You can all hit me up on Twitter. I do not want us to draft a quarterback early in this draft. 27 is loaded. By the way, not only is 27 loaded, we're all very smart here. Like, honestly, we're in it, right? What happens next year if another year goes by with Burrow and Trevor and all these players not getting another ring, right? Like, you get into that. And then to your point, you just rattled off 4 quarterbacks that are all, by the way, I had a weird dream the other night that we signed Watson.
Oh God.
Yeah, but like let me just say this: would it blow you away if Deshaun Watson signed with a team this year and like had a decent year? It wouldn't blow me away. I don't know where he's at.
He tore his Achilles twice. He's not been good in years. I covered it when I was in Houston on ESPN down there. Just he hasn't been that guy in a while. But again, if you add him hypothetically and a Kirk Cousins type, you add to the room.
You also know something that all of us are learning, and it's time for us to acknowledge it. You're right. He hasn't been great at times. And he's been really good at times. Just seeing the field and processing is like a real factor. There's definitely players that like later in the
look at Justin Fields. He's got all the talent in the world.
Well, he doesn't have the throwing talent though.
But he's got an arm. He's got
an arm.
That first game was like the ultimate outlier we've ever seen. We look like we look like the 07 Patriots
for
the entire game on offense.
That game is such a fuck you. That game will be forever a Jets fuck you to me. I'll tell you why. I was fully locked in for the offense that we had every other game. I went into week 1 being like, we're losing games 20-6 consistently this year. Let's just be a gritty defense. Let Aaron bring, like, I was like, it's funny. I brought up Iowa earlier. I'm like, let's be, AJ and I were hot on this. Let's be Iowa. Let's just lose 13-10. Like in the second half of this year, let's just fucking lose 16-9, be gritty. And these motherfuckers went out and scored on every play against Pittsburgh.
Only for Xavier Gibson to fumble on special teams and cost us the game and lose on a 60-yarder. It's just like, and who knows how different the year is if they win that game. They don't start 0-7.
I don't know.
There's some confidence at least. Maybe they still would have been bad, but at least we would have had something. We didn't have a season this year. I'm down in Tampa. They fall to 0-3. I'm like, well, there's that. It was a nightmare. Better days are ahead, I hope. And hopefully you buy the team one day. And
thank you.
You can make me the director of common sense. So we're not doing ridiculous.
I will be the director of
media.
common sense, but you'll be able to be the voice of the fan.
Whatever you need.
Or the GM.
Whatever you need.
Like, I got to pay attention a little closer to like some. You know what? You were tracking to be my GM, but your ambition to take QB in round 2 is.
I'm saying I wouldn't. I'm saying they're going to.
I see.
They're going to. I'm all about 2027. I'm selling March for art shirts already. But
respect.
I'm with you.
All right.
You're the man. I love doing this with you.
Me too, brother. Stay well.
Gary
Bye,
V.
everyone.